Hello everyone, today we're going to be doing a CPU upgrade in this iMac. This is a 2007 Intel iMac, and this came with a Intel Core 2 Duo T7700, which maxes out at macOS El Capitan. And I want to get this thing to Catalina or High Sierra, maybe even Big Sur, we'll see. I actually have a USB installer being made right now. And if you're curious what it does, it just stays on the Apple screen, on the Apple logo boot screen. So, yeah, we're going to be fixing this and hopefully being able to install a patched version of macOS on this thing. Over here I have a tutorial from iFixit. They seem to be a pretty good, reliable website for information for stuff like this. But as you may have saw, I have a box Intel Core 2 Duo T9300. So we have a little unboxing to do first. So here we have it. This is a Intel Core 2 Duo T9300 mobile CPU, which you usually don't see mobile CPUs in a box like this. So if you're wondering if this is still sealed, well, I'm actually wondering the same thing, because you can see here, it looks like it could have been torn open at one point, but it's like sealed. So maybe there's a piece of tape going over this, but here's the CPU. I hope that's the right one. And just a bunch of technical information here. So it's a really nice looking box. And it'll look nice up on a shelf somewhere or something. So we have a little guy there. And yeah, let's go ahead and open this up, maybe for the first time. Both seals have been broken. Maybe I don't know how this opens up. Okay, so unfortunately, it looks like you might have to pull this tab, which will rip the box here. I could not find any other way to open this, which is really disappointing because I was hoping to keep this in decent shape, but whatever. So let's go ahead and pull this tab. That was painful. Well, at least we know it was still factory sealed, which was really cool. Here we have the little sticker. That's probably going to be going on the iMac. This is still sealed. I don't think I need to open this for anything, so that's pretty cool. And here we have the CPU itself. So how does this really open up here? This whole thing just kind of comes apart. And here we have it. Hope this is the right one. T9300. There we go. So I'll put this back in its little place there, and we'll start opening up the iMac, which will be quite an experience. So before I start this, I just want to apologize if I don't get the best filming angle on everything here. It's really difficult to film and do this at the same time. I really want to focus on the iMac more than filming, just because I don't want to break anything, but I'll do my best. So the first thing we got to do is remove this front glass, and that's just held in place by magnets. Here I have a suction cup from a GPS thing. This is from a HP iPac thing, and I did have it off once before just to see if this worked, and it worked pretty good. So go ahead, put it here. Now I probably don't want to go all the way because that might crack it, but just and there we have it off. I'm gonna go set this down in a nice soft place. So here we are with a glassless iMac. And we have some screws to take off around the edge here. And that's pretty straightforward, except when I pull off this aluminum housing, I know there's a microphone cable up here. I got all the screws out, and one thing to note is that the bottom screws are a bit longer. Here is a screw from around the edge, and here is one from the bottom. Easy thing to remember, but also an easy thing to forget. So now it's time to pull off the aluminum housing. So I got to start off from up here. That's interesting. I don't see a cable on mine. You can see a spot right there where there's contacts, but I didn't pull it off. It never worked to start with. There is a cable here. Interesting. Here you can see some of the dusty internals of the iMac. I already went ahead and disconnected the cables I needed to here. And I'm going to have to flip up the display. I also removed the screws. I have to flip up the display and disconnect 2 more cables while the display is up. So that's probably going to be done off camera. So here's the LCD disconnected from the iMac. How I ended up having to disconnect these 4 backlight cables is I actually pivoted up. I put my head underneath it and I reached under and disconnected the wires because I don't know how else you're really supposed to do it by yourself. I suppose I could like tie a string to the ceiling to hold it up, but that seems kind of risky. Something to keep in mind is that this is a power supply here, and that's an exposed power supply with possibly AC current still in it. So I got to really try to avoid that. Now the next step is to actually get this whole thing off because the CPU is on the opposite side. So I managed to get the logic board out. There it is. It required quite a few steps and quite a few screws. You can see all the connectors and stuff here that I had to disconnect. There's way more than it looks like because there's like antennas I put under there and stuff. And yeah, there's the hard drive, the power supply. I'm probably going to be leaving that hard drive in there just because I'm okay with it. But now we get to focus on this. Here's the main logic board, and I'm going to look up more steps on how to get this all apart. I could probably figure it out, but to stay safe, I'm just going to keep following the tutorial. Oh no, I just void the warranty. How will I ever be able to get work done on this? Here is the CPU. I finally got to it. Here is the heatsink. And let's go ahead and remove the CPU. There it is. In goes the new CPU. Okay, now I'll apply some thermal paste, and I'll probably do the same with the GPU, and hopefully this works, because it would be really unfortunate if it doesn't, because it took quite a while to get to this point. This is what the GPU looks like. It's actually on a separate card, so I guess you could possibly upgrade these. That's kind of interesting. It has this weird putty stuff on these chips to keep them cool. I don't think I'm going to put thermal paste there, so I think I'm just going to leave that alone. Okay, it is fully back together. Well, time to plug it in and it'll be the moment of truth. I'll be really disappointed if this doesn't work, because I put a lot of time into this. And here goes nothing. Scared me for a second. I just didn't press the power button hard enough. And it should just boot into Windows. And there we go. Intel Core 2 Duo T9300. So I'll get this thing reassembled the rest of the way. And maybe we'll see if the macOS Big Sur installer will work on here now. Okay, so it's actually the next week, and as you can see, macOS Big Sur is not on here, at least yet. I was actually going to dual boot macOS Big Sur with Windows and macOS Snow Leopard, but it ended up just freezing. But I don't think it actually froze because the progress bar was taking a really long time, and I think that's just because it was that slow. So I think I might give it another shot. But right now we're running macOS Catalina. And yeah, there's not much more to say about it other than it's working. Mostly. The macOS Catalina patcher does have some bugs where, like, if you were to view photos in the Photos app, they get all distorted looking. And I know there's a few graphical glitches in like games and stuff, but one exception is Minecraft, and this is the latest version of Minecraft. It's almost completely playable. It does have some frame drops once in a while, but overall it runs pretty smooth. And this doesn't have any mods or anything installed, no performance mods or anything. And this is running pretty smooth. It's running in the 30s in terms of FPS. The biggest disadvantage to me is probably the lack of the Google Chrome web browser working. It simply just doesn't launch unless you run some scripts and stuff. But even then, you'd have to run that every time. So right now, Google Chrome is out of the question, and that'll probably include Steam, because that's based on Chrome and probably Discord. But you can still run the latest version of Firefox and Safari 15. I noticed some other people having this same problem in Catalina Patcher. So I have a feeling that macOS Big Sur may fix this because that's with OpenCore instead of Patcher, like macOS Catalina has. And as for the microphone, I never found a cable, and the camera and microphone still do not work, so that's pretty unfortunate, but I don't think I'd ever use it anyways, and I think a USB webcam would work with this. So overall, I think this was a pretty fun project, and it was really successful. I'm definitely going to mess around with different versions of macOS on here, see which one works the best. And I'm happy that it has new thermal paste and stuff, because I noticed this gets a lot warmer here because it dissipates the heat better. And yeah, thank you guys very much for watching. Bye. Wait, I forgot something really important. Now we know what CPU it has.